We don't open for another hour, but if you'd like, you can head up now to acquaint yourself.
A painted globe stood at the top of the stairs. The pinpricks across its surface implied it had either been used to plot out perilous voyages across the ocean waves or served as a replacement dartboard. While I was trapped on Devil's Rock, a map of the world wasn't going to be much use to me. An elegant glass-paneled cabinet stood against the wall, holding billiards equipment and a sparkling trophy in the shape of an 8-ball. The cabinet was locked. I picked up the cube of billiard chalk from the edge of the table. It was a small cube of blue billiard chalk. I placed the chalk into the gree-gree. It was a small leather pack. I'd marked off the ingredients I'd found on the manuscript. The room was dominated by a large wooden billiard table, its hand-carved Baroque cabinet presenting a sharp contrast to the faded and ripped baize that topped it. I considered playing a game, but the lack of balls and cues was going to be a roadblock. There was a small electric switch on the wall. The switch seemed to control the ceiling fans. That wasn't going to work. Nope. Nope. I needed to think of something else. I needed to... The door was locked. It was a door leading out onto the balcony. That didn't work. I didn't need to cut that. The glass front would have shattered if I tried to force it open, and I didn't want to get kicked out of the captain's club so soon after getting in. I didn't want to make a hole in that. I couldn't do that. I waited for the doors of the elevator to open, but nothing happened.
If you wish to use the elevator, I'm afraid to tell you it's broken. You'll have to endure the stairs.
Fair enough. The ceiling fans were on. The ceiling fans were off. The ceiling fans were off. That wasn't going to work. I needed to think. While I was trapped on Devil's Rock, a map of the world wasn't going to be much use to me. I had nothing else to say to Felix, and I doubted he had anything to say to me.
Welcome back!
I thought I'd keep that to myself. I had nothing else to ask him.
Anything to report?
I'm keeping my eyes open. Delicately, I dipped the feathers into the canister of ink. When they emerged, they were dyed jet black. I placed the feathers into the gree-gree.
Yes?
Hi! Would you take my photograph?
Do you know how much the chemicals cost to develop those photographs? I'm on a limited budget here, McAllen. Unless you've done something notable, you're not getting into print.
I think I better be going.
I've got my eye on you, McAllen.
I didn't think he'd be interested in that. It was a handful of nails, once used to seal up a coffin. I didn't want to... That wasn't going to work. I didn't... I thought I'd leave Edgar alone for now. A coffin sat upon a rickety-looking table with one leg shorter than the others. A shabby-looking coffin lay unceremoniously on the rickety table. A scruffy-looking man was working away within the remnants of a shack. He looked like the kind of guy who would pass for a scarecrow if he stood still long enough. The gravedigger definitely wouldn't have been happy with me prying up the lid of the coffin. That wasn't going to work. I didn't want to make a hole in that. I didn't need to blow on that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That didn't work. I needed to think of something else. That wasn't going to work. Nope. Nope. I didn't want to make a hole in that. The glass front would have shattered if I tried to force it open, and I didn't want to get kicked out of the captain's club so soon after getting in.